Greetings. How are you this day? As for myself, I'm a little bit tired. It's been a hard week. I feel like I've had such an emotional and spiritual roller coaster. And yet, I have found moments of amazing grace. One of those moments came by way of church member, musician extraordinaire, and clergy spouse, Sally Neal. She was writing in response to a question of how does one pray for someone that one loathes. I want to share her words with you. She writes, "Like everyone else, I struggle with this too. God knows my heart. I can't fake it with God. God knows if I'm sincere, so how do I pray? I believe that God wants us to come with our most honest self and have a sincere conversation. I talk to God by first admitting that I am struggling. I admit my anger and frustration and the emotions that keep me from feeling compassion. And I ask God to help me be compassionate. I can't tell anyone how to pray. It is your own conversation with God. But I do know that God hears us, and God meets us where we are, as we are, and blesses our efforts to reach out to God's presence." Her words were powerful, and they set me to thinking about how I get to that spiritual place where I can pray for people, all people, people I dislike, people I disagree with. And as I pondered that thought, I realized that for me, it helps to start my prayers with confession. I confess that I have sinned against God in thought, word, and deed. I confess that I have fallen short of my God's expectations for me every single day. And in that time of confession, I am reminded that I am not saved by my own righteousness. I am saved by the love and mercy of God. And when I am fully aware of how good God has been to me, not because I deserve it, but because of who God is, I can then pray for those that I dislike, that I abhor, that I despise, and I can pray for a heart that loves more and does better. This week, I invite you to have a sincere conversation with God. Lay bare your heart. Confess. Ask God's forgiveness. And pray for those you dislike, you abhor, you despise. Because God knows our hearts, and when we give our hearts into God's care, God will transform them. Thank you, Sally, for your witness, for your honesty, and for your willingness to lay your heart bare. And thank all of you for your willingness to walk by faith and to walk in the way of love.